At a glance, Jacobe Smith's record is absolutely ridiculous in terms of the way that he stacked up his results. Though in Fury, he didn't get the stiffest of competition, 7 finishes in the first round, and the impressive results have not stopped since entering the organization with the best fighters in the UFC. Jacobe Smith is a prospect you're going to want to watch. With a background in wrestling, the guy is an absolute beast, and today we're going to have a look at his mixed martial arts highlights.
Oh, Till's out! It's over! It's over! That's what I'm saying, boy! Oh! He got dropped! It's over! Munoz! Oh my God!
Jacobe Smith's resume in collegiate wrestling might have been the best way to predict his current run of success, with Smith a D1 All-American in 2018, having qualified for D1 Nationals, and also a 2-time NCAA champion and a B12 conference champion. Born in Muskogee, Oklahoma, it was never a doubt that once he made massive waves in junior college, he'd wrestle for one of the most esteemed and well-respected OSU's wrestling program. Nonetheless, with all the accolades and one of the best bases for combat sport, he'd debut as a professional in October 2021. He'd win 3 fights in an Oklahoma-based promotion before finding his way to Fury FC and getting a bump in competition slightly, and the size of event was much bigger. He is trained around like at AKA. Cormier is actually one of Smith's biggest advocates.
Is a fantastic wrestler out of Oklahoma State University. He's a tremendous wrestler. He's a fantastic grappler. But what separates Jacobe from most of these wrestlers turned MMA fighters is he is a dog.
But as of now, Smith has found his way to one of the best gyms in the United States in Fortis MMA, and he said a lot of his success comes from the dogs that he trains with every day. By September of 2023, just 2 short years after his professional debut, Jacobe was 7-0 and landed another nasty first-round knockout as a main card performer at Fury FC 83. However, the fight would come against an older 12-11 opponent. The UFC, not impressed enough just yet, would have their jaws dropped by his next performance, lasting only 18 seconds. And this would be his last fight outside the UFC, as his 2024 opener was the first round 18-second knockout, and to close out 2024, he'd be up against his far and away best opponent on Dana White's Contender Series. And when he walked into the Contender Series to take on Canadian Christian Savoy, it was bell to bell that Jacobe Smith was dominant in this one. There was without a shadow of a doubt the competition was not what was making Jacobe Smith look so dominant. He'd land takedown after takedown in the first round, following it up with ground and pound. He's not one of the wrestlers that'll hold. He looks for the finish. Savoy would survive into the second round, but then again, another takedown and more ground and pound, and the ref would finally have to step in to stop the fight. It looked like the stoppage came a little bit early, but after you see the shots that Jacobe Smith landed, the end was near, and he was just saving Savoy from getting more damage, and this would get an obvious contract to the UFC, where he would take on Preston Parsons in his debut, and he would get back to the ways of knocking opponents out in the first round in 1 minute and 13 seconds. He would land a left hook, finishing Preston Parsons and earning another notch in his undefeated record, this time in his debut for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. This guy has a huge ceiling. He has crazy wrestling. Unless he really gasses himself in the first 2 rounds and gets finished by an extremely tough opponent in the UFC, he's going to be dominating guys until he's in the top 15 or fighting extremely tough competition. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. Are you excited for Jacobe Smith's career? The guy's a wrestler, but also gets first round knockout finishes. He has huge potential, but that'll do it for today. Peace out.